What is up, everybody? It's the next edition of the Depression Update series that I'm doing, and this week I wanted to talk about something that's a little less, emotional, but mostly frustrating, you know what I mean? In this case, it's dealing with, promising people things, and they usually get unkept because circumstances of life happened. Um, everybody always promises something, I promise that I will do this for you. I promise that I'll always be here for you. And I promise I'll save your life in a way. Um, what I wanted to talk about is there was a time I promised a friend of mine that I would, no matter what in life, I would make sure that if he's ever depressed or suicidal, that I was always going to be there for him. And um, one day it just did not work out because I'm not going to name who it is out of respect for him. But a few years ago, that same friend of mine took his life. And it's not exactly a happy thing. Years ago, when I was in elementary school, I knew this guy. And we were like the type of people who would just, we'd chill out, hang out, probably play some games, like video games. At the time, online gaming when I was like in elementary school wasn't exactly like a big thing, and even if it wasn't exactly that popular as it is the present day, obviously. But one thing I did notice as time went on was he was suffering from really bad depression because he had trouble getting along with others and even get along with even family members at times. And I was literally the only person he ever opened up about it to because I just got sometimes this sense whenever something's wrong. With a close friend of mine, I'm always like, something's not right about you. Like, you seem happy, but at times you're like distracted by something. Is everything okay? And it took a while before he finally told me. And me, as this was actually like, what, seventh grade or something like that when I found out about it. And as the years went on, when I was in high school, we didn't go to the same high school, but I did my best to keep in touch with him. I didn't exactly have a cell phone that much at the time because Mama Maracle always told me, get your own, use your money. So I did when I became of age. And as time went on, I decided that I get a cell phone, so I got a cell phone. Obviously, I still have one today. At this point in life, who doesn't have one? And I kept in touch with them. Still hung out, whether it was calling them, texting, maybe occasional video chat. And he was having a rough time. He was like failing classes and at the same time battling bullies, which, by the way, is going to be a subject I will talk about in another episode of this series. And I got scared myself because, I felt like no matter what advice I was giving him, that things were just not going to work out in the end. And, it was probably my fear of that caused me to say less and probably think maybe I'm being a little too harsh on him. I don't know. So, a few years ago, I was like, texted him saying, "Hey, dude, like, you want to hang out sometime?" Because it had been a long time, and he didn't respond to me. So I texted again. He didn't respond. I called his number. Nothing happened. And then one day, I finally got a call back, and it was from his mom. And he had told me, as she had told me, sorry, that he had took his life. That's what I was honestly afraid of. I promised him that no matter what happened, I would help him get through these problems and get through these thoughts of suicide. And when I found out that he took his life, I was crushed. You get that feeling when You try and help someone, and then you ask yourself, was I not good enough? Is this my fault? Sometimes it just felt like it was my fault and I just wasn't good enough. It took me a long time before I realized that sometimes in life, no matter what happens, no matter how much of a great person you are, you can only do so much. In the end, it's ultimately that person's choice. Suicide is a a permanent solution to a temporary problem. So it was very tough on me. I don't like it when I fail or I feel like I failed big time. And in that case, I absolutely felt like I failed. So honestly, there's not much to talk about right here, but when you feel like you couldn't keep a promise to someone, if it's as major as it was to me, you feel like, is all my future promises not going to be good? Am I going to fail at that? So I miss them. Sometimes, every now and then, I still think about it. But I still carry on, and I still talk to all my other friends, and I tell them, hey, I'm going to be here for you, no matter what. And for anyone out there who's keeping promises that they're always going to be there for others, don't give up just because that friend of yours would take his life, because I know a lot of friends right now who had friends that recently took their lives. And they felt like they failed. They felt like, oh man, they felt like they could have been more, but it didn't work out. And that's not on them. I had to learn that myself, that it's not on you if you don't keep a promise like that. It's never on you. You may feel alone, you may feel like you failed, but that's just your dark side talking to you. And it's a lie. Remember, negativity for a majority of the time is a lie, because those feelings, they want you to fail. They want you to get hurt. So just understand, everyone, that I always do whatever I can to be there for my friends, my family, anybody who cares about me, anybody I care about. And I ain't going to give up all just because I failed one time. I'll be perfectly honest, it was more than one time. But I'm not going to get into that right now. So, lessons can be learned for these situations. Just understand that you just got to pick yourself back up. You got to be ready to deal with what life is going to give you next. Because it's going to be okay. In the meantime, that's the end of this episode. I thank you guys for tuning into this series, those very few who do, because I know I'm changing people's lives, and I know that as each episode goes on, they'll become more and more inspired by hearing my stories. So don't worry, everyone. Don't be afraid to make promises to people, because taking the risk to doing what you can to be there, it is worth it. It will be. I love you guys very much. Thank you for listening.